Hello, my name's Annika and welcome back to the Sewing Nook. In this video, I'm going to be showing you how I made these pajamas. The pattern I used was a New Look 6518 view B and E, and the fabric was this Thrifted bedsheet. To start off, I'm going to cut the pattern out in the largest size so that I can keep it all intact. Then with my iron on low, I'm going to give them all a good press to get any creases out. Then I'm going to cut all my pieces out, and I soon realized that I did not have enough of that trim to fit the two back panels I needed, so I ended up just extending the front panel a little bit longer to make up for the difference. Okay, so now I have all my pieces cut out. I have my front and back short pieces, my front and back skirt pieces, my front bodice, the back bodice, the waistband, and the 4 straps. First, I'm going to mark where I need to do the dart on the bodice, and I'm going to do this on the wrong side of the material. And I'm going to repeat for the lining, which I just did from the same material. Then I'm going to pin it and sew it from the bottom to the dot. Then I'm going to tie that thread twice to make a knot, and repeat for the other darts. Once I've done that, I'm going to press the darts down. Then taking the back left piece, I'm going to mark where the buttonholes are and put some iron-on interfacing. Next, with right sides together, I'm going to put the 2 back pieces onto the front piece, and I'm going to pin it and then sew it with a 1/4 inch seam allowance. I'm going to press both those seams open and repeat for the lining. Now I'm going to serge one side on each of the back panels and both sides on the front panel. Now with right sides together, I'm going to sew the front and back panels together along the sides, which are the edges that I just serged. I only serged one side of the back panels because one side was already hemmed since I was using a sheet. Now I'm going to press those seams open with my iron. Next, starting at the bottom, going to the mark, I'm going to sew the 2 back panels right sides together. Next, I'm going to press the seams open and then top stitch around that opening where the 2 back panels meet. So now I'm going to do 2 rows of gathering stitches around the entire skirt, and to do a gathering stitch, just set your stitch length to the longest possible setting and don't backstitch whenever you start. Then I'm going to gently pull the 2 top threads on one of the sides to gather the fabric up until it's the same measurement as my bodice. Now that they're about the same size, I'm going to pin them together, matching the 2 marks. Now I'm going to sew around the entire thing, starting at one mark and ending at the other one. Once I've done that, I'm going to remove any visible gathering stitches, and whenever you do gather your fabric, if you do it on the top, it makes it a lot easier to take it out later. Now I'm going to press all those seams towards the bodice. Now for the straps, it said to sew them in half and then turn them right side out using a needle and thread, but I could not get this to work, so what I ended up doing was just making some bias tape and then sewing it in half. Also, in hindsight, I did end up shortening the straps about 7 inches in the end. Now I'm going to base the straps to the markings, one on the front bodice and one on the back bodice. After that, I'm going to fold the edge of the lining towards the wrong side about 1/2 inch. Then with right sides together, matching at the underarm seams, I'm going to pin the lining to the main bodice. Then starting at the side and going around the top, I'm going to sew around the entire thing. Then I'm going to trim up the edges, clip the corners, and clip anywhere where it's kind of curved. Once I've done that, I'm going to turn it right side out and give it a good press. Next, I'm going to pin the lining to the wrong side of the skirt, making sure I enclose any raw edges or seams. Then I'm going to sew it all together. I'm going to give that a good press, and then I'm going to top stitch around the entire thing. Next, I'm going to do the buttons. I just decided to use these 3 clear buttons so that they blend in, and I am going to be using my buttonhole foot. I'm going to lay that panel over the other one and put 3 marks, and then sew the buttons onto those 3 marks. And the top is done. Now for the shorts, I'm going to start by serging the edges of the front and back panels. Then with right sides together, I'm going to sew the front and back pieces together along that longer edge. I'm going to press that seam open. Then I'm going to serge on each side that's under the curve. Then with right sides together, I'm going to sew the front and back short pieces on that edge that's under the curve. I'm going to press that seam open, and then I'm going to repeat those steps for the other 2 short pieces. Now to put the shorts together, you have to have one of them inside out and one right side out, and put the one that's right side out inside the inside out one. This sounds really confusing, but here's a picture from the instructions to hopefully make it make more sense. Once I've done that, I'm going to start pinning them, and I'm going to start at the bottom of the curve and work my way up. Then I'm going to serge around the entire curve. I'm going to give that a press. Then with right sides together, I'm going to sew the waistbands together along that shorter edge. I'm going to press that seam open. Then I'm going to fold one of the edges about 1/4 inch towards the wrong side of the fabric. Then starting at the side seams, I'm going to pin the waistband onto the top of the shorts with right sides together. Once I've done that, I'm going to sew around the entire top of the shorts. Now I'm going to press that seam towards the waistband, then fold the waistband over, making sure I enclose any raw edge and seam. Now I'm going to sew on the edge of the waistband, making sure to leave at least a 1.5 inch gap for the elastic. I'm going to give that a good press, and then I'm going to measure some 1 inch elastic around my waist to fit comfortably. Then I'm going to thread that elastic through my shorts through the opening in the back. Once I've got it all the way through, I'm going to pin it and try it on and make any adjustments if I need. Then I'm going to sew them together with a zigzag stitch. After that, I'm going to sew that hole in my waistband closed. And my pajamas are complete. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like, and thank you for watching.